This is a presentation of the internationally renowned Cronkite School.
Hello and welcome to the Zach Bradshaw podcast, where we talk about women in sports. I'm your host, Zach Bradshaw, and joining me today is Cronkite freshman and sports journalism major, Tia Reid. Now, Tia, I understand you're sort of like me in the sense that you want to help increase media coverage of women's sports and also kind of in order to help the effort of equal representation among male and female sports. But I also know that you want to balance equal representation in the media itself, that is, to find kind of a balance between women and men in sports journalism, because as we both know, women currently only make up about 21% of the field. So for you, what exactly have you done or do you want to do in the future as you enter the busy field of sports journalism?
Yeah, so during my time as Cronkite, I have done a lot more than I probably expected that I would do coming in, but I've been involved with Blaze Radio. I've done their kind of introductory freshman show, and then I've also done several play-by-play calls for them across different sports, so like basketball, volleyball, softball. I actually just last week went with Blaze to the Pac-12 Women's Basketball Tournament, and that was part of kind of an initiative of helping push the women's game for sure. And then I also have my own show on Blaze that talks about women's basketball. It's the entire premise of the show. We go WNBA, college, if there's big news from like overseas or from, high school stuff, just anything, like we'll talk about it. Through that type of stuff, I've learned that I think I want to be like an analyst for women's basketball, especially because there is like already we're seeing it now and it's building and it's growing. There's such a large market for women's basketball in the sports broadcasting, sports media industry. There's such a wide alley that no one is taking advantage of, and so I want to definitely move in that direction to help, push others to take advantage of it, but if they're not going to do it, to take advantage of it myself and push the game. So
now, for the audience, what do you think sports-based prejudice looks like in the field of sports journalism?
I think it's like kind of like what I said, like people like seeing, a woman, seeing them and assuming like, oh, you're not supposed to be there because, you're a woman instead of a man trying to go cover on the sidelines or in the wells off the side of the dugouts and stuff like that. They just assume, or, assuming that even though you are a sports journalist and you're there to cover sports, you don't know something about sports, or just like it's little things like talking down to someone and being condescending. It's all that type of stuff. It all kind of builds up to create where we are now, where it's like people, men specifically, don't think that women belong in sports.
So what do you think can be done now and in the future to sort of bridge the gap between men and women in sports and in sports journalism?
I think it's you have to put women in positions where they can be seen by other young girls, because there's a lot of girls who grow up playing sports, who grow up loving sports, and, they probably want to pursue a career in sports, but because of other stereotypes, they end up having to, other stereotypes against women playing sports, for starters, they end up potentially falling out of love with their sport and quitting sport and their sport and moving away from sports entirely. It's about, if you put women on TV, you have these girls, they'll grow up, they potentially will keep playing their sport because they'll be like, oh, there's other women out there playing their sports. And then once they, finish and start looking to go to college, they're like, well, I remember I would watch all these games when I was younger, whether it's, men's sports or women's sports. I'd watch all these games when I was younger, and I remember seeing, this woman on TV, and I wanted to be just like her.
Absolutely. Now, to finish up here, do you have a message to give to any of the young women looking to go into either sports or the field of sports journalism?
Just do it. Don't listen to what anyone else tells you. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna run into people who doubt you whether because you're a woman or just in general, people who doubt you, but don't listen to them. Have your dreams and know what you want and go after it. You can have your dreams, but you have to do the work to go after it. You have to get involved and go look for opportunities and pursue them and keep pushing. Persistence is so important.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I hope that we both can be part of the cause for change in the field of sports and of sports journalism.
Absolutely.
For the Zach Bradshaw podcast and the Cronkite School, I'm Zach Bradshaw. We'll catch you next time.